When you deliver your announcement and photograph, make sure you send it to the editors or the reporters that will most likely be covering the race that you're involved in. And it doesn't hurt when you go by the newspaper to ask for a rate card as to what, if you're going to do any advertising, what they charge for space in their particular publication. One of the first things, well, these are all first things you need to do, but try to get a committee organized that, and hopefully they're all your supporters, that will work with you in helping, because believe me, trying to do it all by yourself, or if it's just a family operation and so forth, you need more assistance and more help, and particularly when it comes to financing a campaign. Now, that's the cost of a campaign, as Jim has suggested, may be rather modest, but on the other hand, there may be some campaigns that are going to take a significant amount of cash in order to do the things that you want to do. So it's helpful if you have some financial person who can help you with the fundraising effort. Now, how do you know how much you're going to need to run? I would suggest that you go to the records, either if it's a city election, go to the city clerk and find out what the filings have been in the past for that particular office. If it's in the unincorporated areas or another agency, the county should have that filing on hand, that how much was spent and where it was spent and so forth. That can be a major guide to some of the things that you're going to need as far as and expenses, because these reports show where money was collected and also how it was spent. Jess Unruh is quoted many times about money is the mother's milk of politics. Unfortunately, that's probably true. A typical candidate may spend 35% of their time just fundraising, again, depending on the type of race and how many opponents you have and so forth. So the people ask me, well, how do you raise funds? Probably the least cost, or the most cost effective, is personal solicitation. And this is probably something that a lot of us are not very keen on doing, because you have to go to your friends and so forth and say, well, I'm going to run, will you give me $1,000 or $500 or et cetera, et cetera. So, but that seems to be the most effective way to do it, and meeting with them personally or a phone call, and depending on how close a friendship you have. Make the most of the facilities that the county elections department has, and they'll talk more about precinct lists and walking lists and so forth. Make yourself visible in the community. Obviously, you should be attending the meetings of the board or agency that you're planning to run for, so you get to know what the issues are, and be prepared to take a stand one way or another, or offer a position as to how you feel that particular board, agency, council, or what have you is doing. A little bit about endorsements. Of course, the races that you're going to be involved in are nonpartisan. But just be aware that there are some political parties do endorse in local races, even though it's a nonpartisan race. Endorsements, from my perspective, can be double-sided. That you can get an endorsement from one person who you think has, is an opinion maker in the community, and that endorsement may result in turning off a number of people. So be careful when you get endorsements and how effective they are. I sometimes wonder, but as the June election just demonstrated, but there are endorsements from the Chamber of Commerce, at least in Auburn. The Auburn Chamber of Commerce has endorsed candidates in the past. My understanding is that they now will just call you in, and you have a series of questions to respond to, and the last I heard, they are going to rank you just as qualified or unqualified rather than a specific endorsement for those who are running. There's also the Sacramento Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce may be interested in your race, and they have a political action committee that actually endorses and provides funds for local candidates. Again, it depends on, usually these are at the city council level, but there may be other races that they're interested in as well. In Auburn, we have the Eggs and Issues breakfast that candidates are invited to talk about various issues and be questioned by the public and so forth. So that's sponsored by the Auburn Chamber of Commerce. You want to make sure, again, on fundraising, that you send thank you notes out to those people who do contribute to your campaign. Be careful with fundraising events. They can get out of hand, and it may just be that, depending on where you have them, that you're not going to come away with any additional money other than paying for the event itself. So you have to be very careful with that. A lot of people like to do coffees and teas in people's houses. That's a good way to get neighbors together and talk about issues, what's on your mind, and be questioned by them as to what you're offering and what things you might do differently than are being done at the present time. Most especially, the walking precincts pays off because you have a chance to go out and actually shake hands and meet the people that you're asking for their vote. And whether you poo-poo it or not, the fact that somebody has shaken your hand, or you said hello, or you remember their name, that's going to help you in getting elected. So I'll stop there and turn it over to my friend Kirk Euler.